If you're buying your first home in Massachusetts, do not just dip your toe in it. There's a ton of mistakes you can make. We're gonna go over some of the things that you need to take precaution of if you're thinking about buying your first home in Massachusetts. We're gonna go over all of the processes, step by step, all the different things you should educate yourself and know about. So let's get started. Step number one is chat with your own real estate agent. It's so important. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll start going out and looking at homes on their own, which is fine to do, but more often than not, 90 to 95% of people who purchase homes in Massachusetts use a realtor to do so. You need to understand the seller has their own broker that represents them, right? And that agent has a fiduciary obligation to them. And most buyers, almost all buyers in Massachusetts have an agent that represents them as well. And they have a fiduciary obligation to you. And part of what a realtor is gonna do, and part of what I do in Massachusetts here, is we educate home buyers from step one, and we negotiate on their behalf and take them through the closing to the end. But you should interview multiple agents, right? It should be the first thing you do. Reach out to a few agents, have coffee with them, ask them questions, ask them what their process is like, ask them how they get paid, and have them educate you, and then you decide on who you want to use. And number two is property education. Something a realtor is gonna do for you. Look at homes with you, they're gonna send you properties, but when you look at homes, what they're gonna do is educate you on everything you need to know about home ownership, construction, property, maintenance, all of the different facets of things that you need to familiarize yourself with if you wanna be a homeowner. Obviously, when you're looking through a home, you wanna take into account the space, the neighborhood, all those things. But what makes a realtor valuable is bringing you to a house, showing you the foundation, the year built, everything on the tax card. When we meet with a buyer at a property, we're bringing the MLS sheet, the public record, the lot lines, and we're going over everything in the house. All of the plumbing, electrical, heating systems, foundation, roof, siding, windows, property lines, easements, wetlands on the property, or even a flood zone. These are all the different things you need to familiarize yourself with so that you can learn what you want to take on in terms of home ownership and home maintenance if you do move forward with a property. The third thing is to understand all the costs involved with home buying. And this is part of that education, right? Your two big payments are your down payment, which can be as low as 3%, 3.5%. If you're a veteran, you can use your 0% down VA loan. And then your second largest cost is your closing costs. Closing costs can be negotiated on your behalf. The closing costs are roughly $10,000 is what I like to say. The higher the purchase price in an area, the higher that number will be. Closing costs go to three different areas. It's paying the bank to originate the loan and do what they do. It's paying a title attorney to do what they do for you in a home purchase. And the third thing is prepaid mortgage payments on a property. You have typically you're making 1 to 2 months of mortgage payments up front at the closing. And that's what makes up your closing costs. So to get into a property, let's say you have a $400,000 home, you're putting 5% down, right? That's $20,000. Your closing costs are $10,000. It takes you $30,000 to get into that home. Another payment that you're responsible for is a home inspection or different inspections on a property. Those aren't mandatory, but we always suggest them. Typically $600, and you could add more inspections on, so on and so forth. But know how much money you're gonna need to get into a property so that you're not left with no money in your pocket when you get in. The fourth thing you're gonna wanna do, and again, if you meet with the realtor ahead of time, they should give you a list of lenders to chat with. If you know lenders, you can reach out to them as well, but you should chat with at least 2 or 3 lenders, whether it be local banks or national mortgage companies, to go over the different loan options for you. There are different loan options available to first-time home buyers based on your financial background, based on where you live, so on and so forth. So you need to go through and see which one might be the most beneficial to you. See also what you can get for a rate, right? Lenders, if you bank them up against each other, are going to give you and compete for your business and try to give you a more attractive rate. That's not going to be a substantial difference in terms of the interest rate, but it can be a few, small 0.1, 0.2% of interest, which can help in time. Number 5, we're going to go over title attorneys and home inspectors. So the 4 people you typically work with when you purchase a home is a realtor, a lender or a bank, a title attorney, and a home inspector. Again, if you're meeting with your realtor ahead of time, they should be giving you a list of these people ahead of time so you can do your research on them and know who you want to go with when you purchase a home. We're going to be working with a title attorney and a home inspector. Title attorneys, what they do in Massachusetts, they draft the purchase and sales for you. They get clean and clear title for you, for your property, and then they do the closing and the deed recording for you at the end of this process. Obviously, a home inspector is going to check to make sure everything's working and functioning properly in your property, and a home inspector is also going to look for any defects in your property, give you that report so that you can decide if you want to move forward, back out, or renegotiate. But you should do your research on who the best people should be ahead of time. That way, if your offer gets accepted on a property, property, you know exactly who to reach out to, and you're not scrambling to make that decision. Again, if you're meeting with your realtor, you should have multiple options while you're making offers on properties. And number 6 is to understand the timeline of a real estate transaction. And this is so important because if you're in a lease or your lease is ending soon, you need to budget enough time for yourself to find a property, to thoroughly go out, look at a number of homes, learn the market, educate yourself, make offers, get your offer accepted, and then go to closing, right? So from the offer being accepted to the closing is roughly to 45 days. It can be less, it can be as small as 30 days or less too, but when you're educating yourself, you're looking at different properties, what you like, and making offers, that always takes, more often than not, at least a couple months as well, right? So if we just added up, 45 days plus 2 months, I mean, we're looking at 3 months already, right? So if your lease is ending in 4 months, you need to reach out to a realtor to get going almost right away. Ideally, you want to be 6 to 9 months out so you can start to plan, at least initially, have that consultation, and then schedule your timeline, and then act accordingly. So those are some of the most important things in buying a home in Massachusetts, and there's a few more important specific property details and things you should familiarize yourself with. But more often than not, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, it is so beneficial to you to reach out to someone ahead of time, make sure it's the person you want to work with, then go out, educate yourself, learn about properties, negotiate, have someone negotiate on your behalf, and then close in a house that you really want and that you know you're getting a good deal on or fair deal on. My name's Sam Moore. I'm a local realtor in Massachusetts. If you or anyone you know is interested in purchasing or selling in the Massachusetts area, feel free to reach out to me. My contact details are below.